It's gonna be a really serious topic that has been weighing on my mind for quite a bit of time. um I've been doing a lot of video sessions that are kind of like more marriage related, talking about what I was going through, what I'm going through. I think last week I shared that I was looking for a job. you know I wanted a side job. I wanted something to supplement my income, but I didn't tell you guys that I actually already have some type of job. Now that's the job I want to talk about. I wanted a job that would allow me to be able to work from home, and I had prayed to God about it, and this job came. And my CEO sent me a text message, and he was like, do you mind sharing the nature of your job with your YouTube audience? And honestly, when I got that message, I was like, oh no, I don't think I want everyone at my job, especially my employees, to see my YouTube channel and to watch my videos. Like, no, I don't want my coworkers to get to have a say in what I'm doing with my life. And let me tell you one thing, it took forever to get access into this company. I'm telling you, it took forever to get into the company, even though I was already hired. The employees didn't like me very much. I was like the new kid on the block, the baby employee. Let's see where she's going to go with this kind of a thing. Like, don't even tell us how you even got the job. We don't want to know. We don't care how you even got into the company. Just get to work and stop disturbing everybody with your, let me share with you the great news, what I went through before I could get the job. We don't want to know. Stop the over analysis. We don't care. We all know what it takes to get into this company, and now that you're here, we don't want to hear about it. We don't zip it. I don't know. I started to feel like maybe I was bragging. The fact that it took so much time and so much effort to get in, and some people saw me like, oh, she's just really proud. She's just really proud. We don't want to have anything to do with you. Just go away. We've heard so much about you. You have a history about jobs, and we don't even want to go there. We don't want to hear anything you have to say. So in a way, because you're taking me so much time to actually get into the company, it's like I'd gone through a lot of rejection getting the job. So in a way, I was still kind of seeking approval in so many ways. Like, I wanted approval from the managers. I wanted approval from my fellow co-workers that, oh yeah, maybe if I get to know them more, maybe they would approve of me. Or maybe if I did this or do that, maybe they will approve of me. Or maybe if I said things in a certain way, or learn a new language, or learn how to speak Spanish, then maybe they will approve of me. But you know what, I'm at the point right now where I'm just really I'm tired of seeking approval. I'm tired of wanting to fit in or wanting to be a part of whatever clique they have in the company. Because the CEO has now told me, because being the nature of my role and the job is a recruiter, I'm supposed to be recruiting people into the company, and he's asking me to share my job with you guys, like, to recruit more people. So I'm like, I actually want to do it because I do like my job. It's just I didn't see it as, I haven't gotten a lot of benefits from the job, and I'm still like, okay, what's the point of this job? What's the point of doing all it takes to get this job, and then you're not getting the benefits that I was promised. I'm not getting any of the benefits with the job. But I continued to read the text message that was sent to me, and I was like, okay, you know what? Yes, let's get the job started. Let's just get the job rolling. Let's just do this. Let's do this and see where it's gonna take us. you and I, where it's gonna take us. But before I got into the nature of my job as a recruiter, I want to tell you a little bit about the CEO himself. Now, we've pretty much, been together for quite a while. I'll tell you why. I have a really good relationship with the CEO of a company that refused to hire me. I'll tell you a little bit about that later, but I just want you to stick with me about the CEO. He is a great person that I really respect so much. One of the best entrepreneur you ever encounter in your life. And honestly, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to get to meet him as well. You ever encounter in your life. I love his principles. I love the way he thinks. Now honestly, I don't have a dad, but I haven't been around him so much. I see him. I can actually call him my father at this point in my life. I can call him my father because he's been such a great mentor to me. It's been such a great mentor to me. Now, one of the things I love about my CEO was I wanted to know a little bit about what is mind, what goes on in his mind. Like, it's just so mysterious. You can't really figure it all out. You really cannot figure out everything that goes on in his head. But I really what I did was I tried to look at his vision and the mission that he had when he initially came up with the idea that he wanted to start a company, a really big company like this. And his vision was it's just really phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. He really cared about people. He cared so much about poor people in general, people that were poor, people that were homeless, people that didn't have a lot. His business idea is a big idea. And so think big. He's a big thinker. His big idea was just it got my heart. It got my heart because it cared about poor people. It cared about people that needed help somehow and they didn't have access to or they didn't even know how to get the resources for the help that they needed. So what he did was, it was a bit too hard, even though he's really intelligent. When he came up with the idea of starting a company, he wasn't able to get the job done himself of looking for people that would work in the company. So he sent his son to like a foreign land, like, okay, I want you to go to this foreign land and I want you to recruit for me people that will be able to work this job. People that will be able to work this job. Now, his son did something that was really spectacular. When he first came to this, when he got to the foreign land, he made a lot of friends and he made a lot of enemies. I'll tell you that. One of his friends, the friends that he initially made were some of them were his family members, and after that, he realized that he could actually start traveling from villages to recruit people for himself. But then he also was very strategic with the system, with the recruiting system. That's what I'll call it. Very strategic with it. He came up with an idea. You know what? I'm going to just get 12 people to work with me, 12 men to work with me. So when we were going to create this little recruiting system, and I'm going to train them, because I can't be here every time to recruit people, because the system has already been set up. They will continue to do the job of doing recruiting while he goes back to the father. So while he was there, he recruited about 12 men with him, and a lot of those men that he recruited were professionals. Some of them were doctors, some of them were lawyers, some of them were tax collectors. Because if you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to know a little bit about law. If you go to Harvard, they're going to teach you about law, because you don't want to gain all this money and you're not paying your taxes. So that's why it needs a tax collector to be able to file the taxes when they do make sales and they make increases and things like that. And he also recruited common men. He realized that his father actually cared a lot about poor people and the common people. So he needed people like common people that would bring common ideas to the table while they're talking with doctors and physicians and lawyers and tax collectors, all those people that have different experiences, different degrees and master's or PhD degrees, and they'll be able to talk with these commoners, because the product that they were being developed was for the commoners. So if they were talking to the commoners, they're working together as a team, they can be able to create a product that will actually meet the need and meet the services of the customers, that meet the needs of the customers that they're serving. Anyway, so those were the 12 men that he recruited as a part of a system. Now he needed to go back to the CEO and report, and he said, you know what, I'm going to be traveling for quite a while, I'm not going to be here, I need you guys to get the job done. They got trained. When I tell you they got trained, they got really trained, and they were able to do the job. It was like a hands-on kind of learning experience. Like, they would watch him do it, and then he will have to do it, and they will have to do it after him, you know. And I really love the fact that that's the best way to really learn. Like, you have to learn from seeing something, you have to learn from experiencing something, and because you've experienced it and because you've seen it, you are able to do it much better. So that's the way that was the idea that the CEO had, and the son actually implemented that idea when he went to the foreign land to recruit a system that you have to be trained. And the way you probably learn better is to experience, make mistakes, and learn from those mistakes, and that's how you become better. So definitely before he left, he gave the 12 men the roles and responsibilities, just like any normal company. If you're supposed to build a company, you have to create roles, and they have to know what they're responsible for, what they're accountable for. So you don't have a janitor doing it. So you don't have a janitor doing a manager's job, or a manager trying to take over the job of a CEO. So there has to be some type of role that is being given, and their responsibilities. I'll go to a job, and when I go to a job, I'm being handed my job responsibilities. So no one has to remind me of what I need to do, because I'm going to be getting paid for the roles that I'm hired for. It doesn't matter, even if you have a PhD degree. I have a bachelor's degree, and I had to go work at a company that I didn't have any experience working in a warehouse. I had to go work in a warehouse. So when I went to work at the warehouse, it didn't matter what degree I had. I was given a role. I applied for a role, even though I had a degree. I couldn't work in that setting with that degree, so I had to get a job that was much lower than the degree that I've earned. And I was expected to fulfill the role of a package handler. That was my role, to handle packages. And I couldn't go there and say, you know what, I have a degree, I want to be a manager, or I want to be a supervisor. There are ladders there you have to cross, and that's the same thing I'm trying to explain to you guys about the roles and the responsibilities that this company has. That just because you have a degree or you have a certain level of experience doesn't mean that you're going to get certain roles. The roles are given to you by the son or the CEO himself. Like, that's what he wants you to do, and that's what you're going to do. It doesn't matter what your degree is, that's what you're going to do. So he also created some, they have regions. Like I said, he was traveling from regions to other regions to recruit people, and those people that were recruited stayed in their regions. They stayed in their regions, and there were more people, and that was how the company started to grow. Oh my God, everybody knew about this company when it first started the company. So after the son traveled, there were a lot of changes. There were a lot of chaos, because there was really nobody to regulate what was going on. This is the men, they started the recruiting system. Some of them were doing different things. Some of them were going, they were having part-time jobs. They left their roles and responsibilities. They placed other people that they weren't trained in the jobs, and everything kind of got mixed up a little bit. Like you really didn't understand what was going on. And we all know that if you have a company and you don't have people in the leadership role trying to see that, hey, the work is being done, there's great productivity, there's great sales, they're the ones that are in the marketing department and doing their marketing job, if that's missing, if there's a leak in the company, if there's a leak in the structure of the policies and the procedures, things are going to be messed up. The customers are not going to be happy about their products. The employees are not going to be happy about their jobs. Things are going to be falling apart. The CEO definitely was not having it. It was heartbroken because he had a really great vision, and he had a mission. He had somewhere that he wanted to go with his big idea. He cared about people, and he saw that, hey, if the employees are not working and they're frustrated with their jobs and everything is just a chaos, of course the customers are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy about the products that about the services that they're getting or even inquiring to get. All right, so this was what happened. The CEO said that he needed some more people to join the team. To join this company. And the people that he sent to the company, when every time they got in front of the gate, they didn't have an access. It was like one of those companies where you need like a chip, or you need like an ID card to badge yourself in. Like if you don't have a badge or you don't have something, you can't get into that company because there's been issues. There's been issues. Just like, I worked at this warehouse and it was very close to the airport. It was very close to the airport. After the 9/11 event that happened in America, it's been scary after that. Like you can't have access into that job without a badge. It doesn't matter what your role is, even if you're supposed to be flying a plane to get the products to deliver the products to people. If you don't have a badge, you cannot fly a plane. If you don't have a badge, you can't go into that company. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. I started to feel uncomfortable working for the warehouse. Like, it's not a big deal that, okay, maybe I forgot my badge at home. And they're telling me it's not even about you. If a pilot that's supposed to fly a plane is coming into this company without a badge, they won't let him in. It doesn't matter what your role is. It doesn't matter if the product has to be delivered. You're not going to be let into the company. You're not going to be let into the company if you don't have your badge. So that's the same way this company is. That you have to have an access. You have to have a proof that you actually are a part of the company. So when the CEO sent people to the company, like, okay, you know what, we need more workers, we need more productive, we need the increase, the employees of the company, that they need more people to work. There's just so many things to do. They're not letting people in. They're not letting people in without an access. So this was what some of the employees realized, that actually those at the gate were a bit corrupt. They were letting people, not just the people that worked for the company, they were letting the competitors that wanted to gain access, like, I call them whistleblowers or like spy workers. They don't really want to get a job to work at the company. They don't want to work at the company. They're just getting the job to seek information about what they're doing for their sales to be increased. And when they get that information, then they go back to their company and they implement those ideas. They are like competitors. They steal information just to beat you at your at your own work, at your own company. So they're called whistleblowers, and they're also called spy workers. They go around asking people questions, really weird questions, just to get information from them. So some of the employees realized that the people at the gate were corrupt, and they were letting other people that were working at the company, they would let them in from the window. They weren't even going through the door, because if they go through the door, the security alarm system will say boom 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 boom, you're not a worker here, go back, and then everybody will know. So they were letting people in with their networking and their connection through the window. Now when I saw this, because of course the CEO told me that I needed to go to the company and see if I could find a way to get in there, because they needed more people to work. They needed more people to be recruited. I couldn't get access, but then I saw people going through the window. So I kind of peeped a little bit into the window, and what I saw shocked me, because they offered these people have been offered money, extra money, a lot of recognition, that if they were able to go to the other company and successfully get the information that I needed, that they will get more promotion, they will get more fame, they will get more recognition, people will respect them more, because they were able to do that task of stealing information from the other company. Really sad case scenario. But then let me tell you exactly what was going on behind the scene. Behind the scene was that when they were offered that money, yes, they did make the money, no doubt. They made the money, they got a lot of recognition from doing whatever they had to do, but they were also very enslaved. Some of the workers realized that you're a whistleblower, they will put you to work. When I say put you to work, they will put you to work. You're working like a slave, pretty much working like a slave. If you take that route of not going directly to the door where the alarm system is, and you're going through the window to steal information, you're going to be working as a slave. Don't go through the window, go through the door. But then this is what the security systems did. Of course, an event like 9/11 is so scary. We don't want anything like that to happen again. So they started to shut the gate. The gate was really wide. Everyone could go there without even a badge before. But now the gate is getting really, it was so wide, everyone was going in. They didn't know who was going. They couldn't keep track of who was with the company and who wasn't with the company. So they started to shut the gate. Now the gate is so narrow. Even though the gate is narrow, you want to go through the narrow gate. You don't want to go through another gate that seems like it's really wide, because when you go through that, you will get a lot of money, a lot of recognition, but then at the end of the day, you're gonna be worked as a slave. That's not good. That's not good. So being a recruiting agent, I'm just telling you the things I have realized from all of us trying to get into this company. You want to get into the narrow gate. Get into the narrow gate. So as I was saying, I couldn't get into the company. So the CEO said, you know what? This was what happened. Before I was able to see the CEO, this was what happened. Some of the employees realized that the gatekeepers were corrupt. So what they did was they did an election between themselves. They did an election because they're like, oh, we need more election. That okay, if you got a role, because they needed representatives to represent them. They need representatives to represent them. Someone that can go in between, like the CEO, and go back and forth to give them information. So they had to kind of do like a ballot. Kind of like you're running for the post of a president or the post of a governor or a commissioner. So that was exactly what they did. Very smart. They did an election, so they would elect you, and the way they would elect you is they would tap you on the shoulder and tell you elected. Hey. So they kept tapping. They kept tapping. I know a few people tapped me. They were mostly men, and there were other people around me also. They were seeking this job. They wanted to get into the gate, and nobody would allow them to get in here. So they would also tap them, and they were elected. And that was how they would elect you normally. That was how we were all elected. So because we were elected, we got a call. We got a call from the CEO. Yeah, the CEO wanted to see us. He wanted to have a conversation with us. So we went to see the CEO, and the CEO himself. Oh, after hearing our frustration, like we've been trying to get into this gate and people are not gonna let us in. We're tired. Like when I heard about this job, I left my job. I said, I want to be a part of this company. I like the idea. I like the vision. I want to be a part of the mission to be able to give a service that care about the poor and needy. I want to be a part of this company. I left my job, my professional job, for this. Because you know what, all the people that have also left their profession, they've given really great reviews. When you go to an online website and you are reading about a company, before you even get into the company, you want to read reviews about the company, like, oh, do the people that are working there like the job before I get in? Yeah, so they really had amazing reviews, like, oh, I left my job too and I followed and I got recruited with this company and it's paying a whole lot and I get a whole lot of benefit, family benefit, a lot of provision. It's a really secure job. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave my job too and do this. I left my job and I got to the gate trying to get hired. They won't let me in. What? Are you? No. I've left everything for this job, and you will let me in. So after getting elected and we got the call, finally we got to meet the CEO himself, and the CEO took his sweet time to teach us about himself. Because you need to know a little bit about the CEO before you can even get the job done. Like, hey, I need to share with you my vision and what I want in my company so you don't mess it up. Like some people have, you know what? I want you to do this. So you're representing my company. I want to make sure that you're going to be doing the right thing. So I have to tell you a little bit about my vision and what I'm expecting from you. So the CEO taught us everything we need to know about the company. What's going on, what he wants us to do, what he wants us to tell the people that have been there before, how we can make the company better, how we can make the company grow, because they keep sending people to the gate and they keep shutting the gate. They're not getting any access. They're not getting, and the people in the company working are wondering why people are not getting in. The work is so much. So overwhelming. They're getting piles and piles and piles and piles of job. So hopefully by the end of this video, if you're the worker working inside, this may help you to understand that maybe there are a few things that has to be changed with how the work is how the work goes on. What goes on with the work, and a few ways of how to approach other people so you can get more people that would love to work the job and also stay on the job. So after getting trained by the CEO himself through hands-on experience, it was definitely hands-on. We learned through our experiences with the CEO, and our experiences has qualified us to be able to get the job done efficiently and to increase more sales, to increase the sales of the company and maybe give the company a better reputation, because right now the reputation of the company is not as good as much. People are not really writing a lot of great reviews about it anymore. As a matter of fact, I was like, I don't even know if I want to talk about this company on YouTube because nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear about it anymore. So anyway, I went back. I'm still gonna I hope you're still with me. I hope you're still with me. I'm getting somewhere with this story. Trust me, I'm getting somewhere with this story. So finally went back to the company again. You say, oh yeah, we went to the CEO and he has taught us, and he has qualified us to be able to gain access into this company. Now keep in mind, the people that the CEO recruited, whew, some of them were prostitutes. You know, like what? Some of them were like, they shared with me like, oh, you know what? I've committed abortion before. I'm just letting you know, like I've killed a baby before. Some of them were lawbreakers. They are murderers. Like, imagine working with someone that has killed another person before, and you're like a professional. You're like a professional murderer or a professional prostitute. Which one are you? You know, some of them were, you know, some of them have done really attractive. I mean, it was a really huge offer. It was very attractive. They got the cars, they got a lot of things with it. But then every time I look into the window to say hi, they look like they're suffering. They look like they're crying. They're being enslaved. And they had all the cars and the money, but they're still so sad. I didn't want that for myself. So what I did was, I'm not the type that usually prays. I don't pray. I don't pray for nothing. I don't pray. But I had to go on my knees. I'd lost so much. My heart was already breaking. I was frustrated and tired. I had been shamed. I had been insulted. I had been embarrassed. I didn't know what else to do with my life. I was at the wall. But I had to pray. It didn't matter what God had did. It didn't matter if God taught me. I needed to get into that gate. I needed to see the sun. And I didn't know how to see the sun. So I prayed this prayer. I took my Bible and I opened to the book of Romans chapter 10. I scrolled down to all the way to verse 8, and it was like something clicked in my head. I felt so powerless and I felt so hopeless. But this message gave me a lot of power, because it told me that I had the power. It says, on the contrary, what does it say? It says the message is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. How can I get to the Son? Because I can't get through this gate without the Son, even if I've met with the Father. And then the policy, some of the employees said that it was also in the policy and the procedure that if you had met with the Father, then it also meant that you've met with the Son. That you can have access into the gate. Because if the policy and the procedure manual says that if the Son himself said that if they've met with the Father, they've also met with him. Then nobody can come to him except the Father as calls those people. So if they've been called, if the Father himself had called them to recruit them, then they're kind of qualified and they can have access. But then the people at the gate won't let us in. This prayer was the one that saved me. This prayer really just helped me. And I want to share that with you if you're seeking the kingdom of God. Yes, we've been talking about the kingdom of God all this while. And yes, I do have a job. I'm recruiting people. I'll get to the point of how I was able to get into the gate in a little bit. So verse 8 said, the message is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. This is the message of faith that we proclaim, that if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Because one believes with the heart, resulting in righteousness, and one confesses with the mouth, resulting in salvation. And says that now the scripture says this is the policy and the procedure. I got to have it. Like, I had to have my hand on it to understand exactly what I needed to do, because these people were throwing me back and forth, and it was like they didn't really care about how much I had suffered. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? The son himself, when he was recruiting people, he also suffered. He had a lot of enemies. So I was like, you know what? If he went through it, it's okay. I'll get through it too. But in verse 11 says, now, the policy and the procedure manual says, everyone who believes on him will not be put to shame. For there is no distinction between Jew and Greek, since the same Lord of all is rich to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So I'm thinking to myself, if I believe in him, I'm not going to be put to shame. Oh, I've thought about it. All those microphones, all the insults that I've had. Well, it's time for us to stop this embarrassment and just do the right thing. So yes, I prayed this prayer. And I believed in my heart that God loved me so much that he sent the only begotten Son for me to have eternal life. For me to gain access into the kingdom. For me to be a part of God's kingdom. For me to be a part of God's company. Even though I may look like I'm not worthy, even though I may look like a prostitute, I may look like a murderer, I can talk like a murderer, I may look like I've killed someone, I may look like I've aborted a baby, I may look like I don't fit in to be in that company, I may not look professional, I may not talk professional, I may not act professional. But if I believe that God loved me so much, that I can meet with the Son. And when I meet with the Son, I can meet with God himself. So for those ones that are at the gate and they're trying to see God, they're trying to get access into his kingdom, into his company. They want answers to all the things that have been going on in their lives. They want solution. They want services rendered. And you're not getting it. The only way, according to the policy and the procedure manual, to get into that gate is through his Son. And the only way to get to his Son is by saying this. Is by saying this in Romans chapter 10 verse 8 to verse 13. By saying that. Applying the principle of this policy and procedures manual to your life. That's how you get access into the kingdom. It takes you straight into the kingdom. The alarm system is not going to sound. You're not going through the window. You're going through the door. It's narrow. Now I realized that it was very difficult for me to say this. It was difficult. Because I had to do certain things. And some of the employees, the ones that elected us, they were the nice ones. They cared. They wanted us to get to make it as well. They wanted us to have an access into that gate. So what they did was they helped me out. And they shared with me that I needed to forgive. I needed to forgive some people that I left behind. I needed to forgive a lot of people that I've hurt while I was trying to seek this new job. I needed to forgive people that have hurt me. I need to let go of all the abuses, of all the insults that I've encountered by the gate. It didn't matter how ashamed I was, how embarrassed I was. I needed to let go of all of that. Because if I continue to hold that anger in my heart, I was going to be denied access. I want to get into that gate. I want to see the Son. I want to see God himself. I want to prove to him that I can do a much better job than those ones that are at the gate. So, prayed. Because I was starting to realize that I didn't even have that power to forgive. I didn't have that power to let go of the hurt of those that have abused me, have cursed, those that have insulted me, those that have used and dumped me, those that have left me broken. I didn't have the power to forgive, so I had to pray. I need you to help me to forgive, because I need to get into that gate. Because I need to get into that gate. I need to get into that gate. I wanted to talk to the CEO. Yeah, I wanted to talk to God. But I didn't know how to get back to God. He had taught me all those things, and I didn't know how to get back to him. See, what he did was, he left inside of me a tracking device. It left inside of me a tracking device. You know, when you're walking, when you have a tracking system, like the satellite can pick up on where you are based on how the tracking system has been functioned to work. It can track where you are, and the CEO can see me. It can see if I'm working or not. It can see what I'm doing. If I'm lazy, it can see everything I'm doing, but I can't see him. So as I started to experience a lot of issues with the job, this new job that I just had, because honestly, the employees, the ones that have been working over there, they are so burnt out. They are frustrated. They are tired. It's starting to get to me. Like, I'm the new girl on the block, but please chill a little bit. Chill a little bit. Maybe if you really understand how much time it's taking for me to get here, you won't think I'm proud. I'm not being proud. I'm just saying. I'm happy that I'm finally here. I'm happy that I'm finally here. So, what I did was, I prayed again. How can I see you if you already have a tracking device in me? You can see me, but how can I see you every time I want to see you? If I have any problems, how can I see you? And I remember what the CEO had said. He had told me one time that I was very careless with my cell phone. Very, very careless with my cell phone. And every time he's trying to get in touch with me, my cell phone is either on the couch, on the bed, somewhere. And honestly, I really don't carry my cell phones. When you call me, I may not reply your call in like 2 days or 3 days because I don't have my cell phone with me. I don't use it as much. Only when I need to call. But when people call me, I miss it sometimes. And I know it's a really bad habit. But usually when I'm looking for my cell phone like that, I borrow my mom's phone, I dial my number on my mom's phone, and then I call my phone. I'm hoping and praying that I left it on vibrate or I left it on ring, because if it's on silent, I'm screwed. Forget it. It's just too much frustration. I get really, really anxious at that point. But every time I take my mom's cell phone to call my phone, it rings. And I'm looking for it under the blanket, under the sheets. Where is my cell phone? I can't find it. Then, voila, that's it. Finally, hallelujah, I found the phone. Now I can scroll to my message to see who has called me, and I can give them a call back. That's the same thing about Jesus Christ. It's the way. It's the way that we need. And that's the same thing about God, because they work together. The Son works with the Father. They work together towards a definite goal, a definite purpose, to bring more, to produce more, and to be able to supply more products to people. So, the cell phone is God. The cell phone, my cell phone that I'm looking for, that's God. and I'll have to borrow someone else's phone, which is my mom's phone. Now my mom's phone is Jesus Christ. I know, it doesn't make any sense, but you get it later on. When I'm borrowing in Jesus Christ, which is the phone, to call my phone, it makes it visible. It makes God, it makes my cell phone visible. So when I go through Jesus Christ and I confess and I say, Lord, I need you to get me in touch, to get me to God. I need to talk to God. And I use that phone, the cell phone makes the other phone visible. So when I go through Jesus Christ makes God visible for me to see. So I can't see God without going through Jesus Christ. I can't see my phone that is missing without using another person's phone to call my phone. So that's the same case. When you're seeking for God, you want God to attend to you, your life is upside down, you can't take it anymore. Things are just not working the way you want it to work anymore. You have to go through Jesus Christ before you can get to God. Your fasting periods of your fasting is not working anymore. You're fasting for so many days, you're attending so many night vigils, you've done everything that has been prescribed to you by the people at the gate that you have to do to get into the gate. They're scamming you, you're bribing them with all those things, and they're still not letting you in, and you're frustrated. You just want to see God. You can always see God through Jesus Christ. So that's why that prayer worked for me, and I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to go through all the hassles of trying to find a way to get in and you can't get in. Don't wait till the last minute, because the gate now is so narrow. You want to go through in right now, and you want to go through the gate, not through the window, and you want to go through it the right way. So when you're seeking the kingdom of God and his righteousness, everything else that you want will be added unto you. If you want a job, you're going to get a job with it. If you want a family, you're going to get a family with it. Whatever you want is going to be given to you with the kingdom. That's where the benefit comes in. And the benefits sometimes can be a bit delayed. My benefits right now, I'm not really getting a whole lot, but we'll see where it takes me. And then I'll get to write a review online. So you know what? I left my job for this, and I got all those benefits. Oh, you need to get on board. I need someone to delegate to. The work it's getting too much, and yes, the work is a bit too much because people are not. They don't know their roles. They don't know their roles.